Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are diving in to make a Bitcoin price prediction for 2024. As always, before we jump into the topic of today's video, please make sure to drop a thumbs up on the video below if you enjoy it. Please leave a comment as well if you enjoy the content. It's super helpful for the algorithm. Make sure you're subscribed and hit that bell notification icon so you can stay up to date with all of our latest videos. We are dropping multiple videos every single week so you can stay on top of everything in the rapidly moving Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. So without further ado, let's jump into today's video. And what we're doing is we're going to make a high-level price prediction for Bitcoin for the year 2024. Now, this is not a price prediction for Bitcoin at the height of this next upcoming bull market. You could argue we're already into the bull market as well. But this is a price prediction for the end of the calendar year for 2024. And obviously, if you're following this space, you know that we have the upcoming Bitcoin halving as a seminal event in the Bitcoin calendar. It occurs once every 4 years, where the block reward for miners gets cut in half once again. So as we can see, the block reward getting cut in half in all of the previous four Bitcoin halvings. This year in 2024, the block reward is getting cut to only 3.125 Bitcoin per block. So in 2028, that will get cut in half again. And that happens every 4 years ad infinitum until the year 2140, when the final Bitcoin will be mined. So the block reward subsidy and the halving event, all of this large 4-year cycle plays into the larger macro 4-year super cycle that Bitcoin tends to follow. And we've done a separate video on the channel about the Bitcoin 4-year super cycle. I will leave a card for it above and you can check it out on the channel. But basically what we see is these cycles over the course of 4 years, with the halving event typically spurring accelerated growth for a bull market in the 12 to 18 months after the Bitcoin halving event. And typically we see all-time highs for Bitcoin within that 12 to 18 month period after the halving event. So with the halving event occurring in April of 2024 this year, we will be expecting a new all-time high for Bitcoin sometime in the Q4 of 2025 timeframe. So that's when we would expect to see the new all-time highs based on previous performance and the 4-year Bitcoin supercycle. However, how high can Bitcoin get by the end of this year in 2024, which would still be about 8 to 12 months before we would expect to see a new all-time high for the height of the bull market. So I think one of the things we would definitely expect Bitcoin to see would be putting in new all-time highs above its previous all-time high of 69,000 this year. But we're going to take a look at a couple of different models to think about how this price action might play out as we move through 2024 and where Bitcoin could get to. So the stock to flow model here maps Bitcoin's price action over the course of its lifetime. And again, as we looked at the different halving events over the course of the past number of years and how they play into the supply shock that occurs every 4 years, what we typically tend to see is large price acceleration in the aftermath of these halving events. So the dotted lines on this chart basically represent the halving events in 2013, 2016, 2020, 2024. And what we notice is this brown line here. This is representing the stock to flow. So the stock to flow gets cut in half every 4 years essentially, and the price action is accelerates upwards as a result. So basically what we saw after the 2016 halving was a large price increase, and the colors with the Bitcoin price here are representative of how far away we are from the next halving date. So again, as we get to more of this purple color, the closer and closer we're getting to the Bitcoin halving, we're obviously getting very, very close. In about 60 days time, we're going to have the 2024 halving. And we see this stock to flow getting cut in half, and then the price action going upwards as a result. So there's a lot of, speculation and controversy around the stock to flow model and whether it will continue to be accurate after the next halving, but it has, relatively accurately tracked the price action of Bitcoin over time. There's also an argument about diminishing returns and each cycle delivering diminishing returns when it comes to the Bitcoin price action in the 12 to 18 months after it with each new epoch. But, that might continue to happen, or the approval of the most recent ETFs might help to encourage Bitcoin to give us even better asymmetric returns in this new epoch. So the stock to flow model basically is giving us an estimate for price over time. And if we look at the stock to flow model and map it out towards the end of 2024 here, it's giving an estimated Bitcoin price by the end of 2024 in the region of 175,000 US dollars, 175 to 180. So, in my opinion, that is extremely bullish. Although the rate at which the ETFs are purchasing Bitcoin could create such a supply shock that we could get to prices close to this, but they would need to be continuing to purchase Bitcoin at the rates they're already doing, which is in excess of 10,000 Bitcoin every single day being accumulated by the 9 new ETFs. But a price of 181,000 would probably be something I would look at towards the peak of the bull run, rather than a price target for the end of 2024. However, if we do continue to map to the stock to flow model, and if all of this accumulation continues to happen, and even if it accelerates with the ETFs and with the diminishing Bitcoin supply being held by centralized exchanges, and the supply crunch really kicks into force after the Bitcoin halving, we could see prices in excess of 100,000 and possibly even in excess of 150,000 by the end of the year. However, as I said, I think these prices for me would be closer towards the end of 2025, but let's see what happens when it comes to the stock to flow model. The other model we're going to take a look at here is the Bitcoin power law. And again, we've done a video more in depth on the Bitcoin power law on this channel. You can check it out. But basically, this is showing how Bitcoin mathematically observes a power law, and the price action of Bitcoin can be predicted by using this power law as we look to the future. So power laws basically help to shape a number of different natural phenomena that we see in the world, like how cities grow and how let's say the size of the brains of different animals increases proportionate to the mass or the size of that animal, and you're able to map it out in this logarithmic function. And these lines basically on this chart here, these are not trend lines drawn by hand. These are lines that have been mathematically calculated based on the power law and Bitcoin and the Bitcoin price fitting into that as a logarithmic function. Now, I'm not a mathematical expert, but there is a lot of interesting content on this on YouTube as well. You can check it out yourself. But what does the Bitcoin power law say when it comes to us thinking about the price of Bitcoin and a price prediction for the end of 2024? So if we map this out, and basically the green line is the median or the average trend, where the purple line gives us the price when Bitcoin basically has a breakout, when it hits its all-time highs, like it did here in at the end of 2013, again in 2019, again in 2021. So what we are seeing here is when the price of Bitcoin is under this green line, you can consider it to be on sale, and when it's above the green line or closer to the purple line, you can consider it to be overbought or overvalued. So typically it will always regress to the mean, which is the green line in this function. And what we're looking at here, if we map Bitcoin towards the end of 2024 with the Bitcoin power law, would be a price pretty much exactly around the $100,000 mark if we're taking the average price for the Bitcoin Power Law model. So, if we took it to the extreme, we would be seeing something around 379,000. If we took the worst case scenario, we'd be seeing something around 35,000. But I think this is a very realistic expectation in terms of Bitcoin price as we move toward the end of this calendar year for 2024. And my own personal prediction is something in the range of 79 to 102,000 US dollars. With the ETF approvals lately, we mentioned already how the ETFs are accumulating more than 10,000 Bitcoin every single day. With the supply, with all of that Bitcoin being purchased and with the supply getting cut in half again to 3.125 Bitcoin per block in April of this year, we're pretty much going to be going 3/4 of this year with half of the supply that's currently coming into the system, along with the ETFs accumulating more Bitcoin than has been being accumulated prior to January of this year when the ETFs were approved, and the amount of Bitcoins just simply isn't available. So the prediction here is obviously a range from 79 to 102,000. It's going to be very difficult to make something extremely precise, but I do think the stock to flow model, the Bitcoin Power Law model, is a very interesting indicator here for around the $100,000 mark by the end of the year. If we see the ETFs continue to purchase at the pace that they are doing now, I think we could definitely blast past 100,000. But my prediction for the end of the calendar year of 2024 would be something in the $79 to $102,000 mark, with potentially prices for the height of the bull run in excess of 150 to 180,000. We will make a completely separate video on a price prediction for the end of 2025, but this one was more focusing on the remaining calendar year for 2024 and where we can see Bitcoin go in the 6 to 8 months in the aftermath of the upcoming halving event. So as always, if you enjoy these videos, please make sure to drop a thumbs up on it below. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button. We are dropping 5 to 6 videos every single week, sometimes multiple videos a day, so that you can stay on top of everything in this space. So make sure you hit the bell notification icon as well to get notified when those videos drop and stay up to date and hit your crypto goals. As always, we will catch you in the next one.